Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of the Take Your Life Back Today show. As an addiction recovery coach, I want to share this with you. To make it very crystal clear, let me say it, to leave an everlasting impact upon you. Imagine, just imagine, being buried alive. You're laying in the coffin, but you know you're not dead. You try to open the coffin lid, but it can't open because the dirt upon the lid is so heavy, the lid just won't move. You just think, today is the day that you're going to die. But then you say to yourself, what if I bang on the lid? Maybe I can unsettle the dirt that's upon the lid, and people up there might notice and start digging their way down to help me. This is what it's like to find yourself at the lowest point of alcohol and drug addiction. You know you need help. You know you can't do it completely on your own, but you don't know where to get help. In reality, there are probably people standing right on top mourning your death, but you don't know that. You just think, today, you're going to die. Usually, though, people don't think about death when they're habitually abusing drugs and alcohol. In order to feed an addiction, you have to be great at repressing the fear of death. I often ask you, my audience, did it ever come across your mind that maybe when you overdo or habitually abusing drugs and alcohol, that maybe, just maybe, you might overdose and take something that was preciously given to you by the Lord Jesus, your life, away from you? And if that's not selfish enough, taking it away from your children, your husband, your wife, your mother, your father, and your friends, you take your life away from them. With this, let me leave one last thought. Don't be the person in the coffin that I'm just reading about, banging on the lid, hoping that somebody might come and help them. Instead, take your life back by calling me at 844-405-HELP and getting the help you need today. If you still have a pulse, and you can still blink and you can still breathe, you still have a chance to take your life back. But you need to make that move. I always tell you, folks, I don't know where you are, but if you're watching me, you know how to get a hold of me. 844-405-HELP. Let me help you take your life back before, my friend, your life is gone. People like Larry Geist from the Geist Academy. He's an addiction recovery coach, a life coach. He will help you from your addiction to your recovery. He will help you from depression to happier times. He will help you from low self-esteem to raise your self-esteem. Larry Geist is at 516-458-2741, 516-458-2741. You can Google him at www.odysseyconsultant.org. Larry Geist and I always tell people like you that it doesn't matter where you've been. It doesn't matter where you came from. What matters is that you're here, that you're reaching out and asking for help. Let Larry Geist from the Geist Academy at 516-458-2741 help you take back your life. When you speak to Larry, let him know that you heard about him on the Take Your Life Back Today show with me, Ralf Friedrichs. Folks, if you're watching this video and it seems a little blurry, it's not the quality of the video, it's the effectiveness of your glasses. GlobalEyeglasses.com has over 1,200 frames for you to choose from. They could be plastic, metal, they could be full frame, half frame, and no frames at all. They have lenses like progressive bifocals, which are no-line bifocals. They have line bifocals. They have thinner lenses for the prescriptions that are thicker. They have shatterproof lenses for the elders and children. They have coatings like anti-reflecting coating, which is for night driving and computer reflection. They have UV coating and anti-scratch coating. They have the lenses that change indoor-outdoors called transitions and photochromatics. Folks, when I let Global Eyeglasses advertise on my on my video and my show and my websites, I did it for one reason only, because I want to make sure that I only let companies advertise on my show that I know the product and that I know the effectiveness of that product. And what better way than having Global Eyeglasses advertise on my show with me with over 30 years experience in the optometry business? Because that way, if you, my audience, needs glasses, you go to them for the glasses, but you can come to me for the experience. You can come to me and say, Ralph, can you help me with this frame, or can you help me with these lenses? I certainly will do that at 631-599-0218. And here's the best thing. When you're ready to place that order online with GlobalEyeglasses.com, I will give you a code. You put it in the coupon code, and that code will give you free shipping. like over 250 of you folks have done already, get a hold of me for your eyewear and eye care needs. And I will help you place the order through www.globaleyeglasses.com. Let them focus on saving you money so you can focus on seeing my videos better. Causes of loneliness in older people. More than 1 million older people regularly go an entire month without speaking to anyone, according to charity. Half of all people aged 75 and over live alone, and 1 in 10 people aged 65 or over are always or often lonely. That's just over 1 million people. In 1 year since they opened their helpline for older people, the Silver Line have taken almost 300,000 calls from the lonely and the isolated. Loneliness might be described as a negative feelings for sadness brought on by lack of communication, companionship, and relationships with other people. Loneliness can affect anyone of any age, but older people in particular are getting more of it. As people grow older, they are more likely to lose loved ones that may have passed on. They are also more likely to experience health problems, which can make it harder to get about, to even leave the house sometimes. All of these can increase the feelings of loneliness and isolation. Remember that loneliness is not the same as being alone, and has nothing to do with how many people your relative sees. It's the quality of the social contact that makes all the difference. It's possible to be in a relationship or live with family and still feel lonely. Your relative might be surrounded by caring, but still feel lonely if they are missing friends, family, or a partner that might have passed, or even if it can't be as active as it used to be. Here are some of the main causes of loneliness. Retirement is number 1. People might miss day-to-day contact with work colleagues, plus the routine of getting ready and going out to work. Number 2 is bereavement. Chronic loneliness can unfortunately set in after the loss of a partner. Similar feelings of loneliness can arise if one relative moves to care home and the other one is left at home. Number 3 is lack of friends and companions. Friends may have passed away, no longer live in the same area, or have restricted mobility that stops from getting them in or out of different places. Number 4 is poor physical health. Ill health or loss of mobility can make it more difficult to socialize. Number 5 is location. Your relative may not live near family and friends, particularly if they are living in a residential care home, where choices of location might be limited. Modern life means that families are often more geographically scattered, living further apart due to jobs or family breakups. Number 6, lack of transport. Your relative may no longer be able to drive for health reasons or no longer own a car. If they live in a rural area, public transportation might be very limited. Financial problems can also limit traveling. Number 7 is financial difficulties. In addition to causing stress, financial problems can also limit traveling. Not being able to leave the house as often as they like reduces the opportunities for social contact and can lead to feelings of social isolation. Sometimes loneliness can happen without any of the above reasons. It may alternately be caused by certain medical conditions, such as degenerative brain conditions like Alzheimer's or dementia. Depression can also be both a cause of and a consequence of loneliness. Signs to look out for. Remember that loneliness doesn't happen overnight. It is something that usually creeps up over time as personal circumstances change and feelings of isolation increase. If you are worried that your relative is at risk of loneliness, there are some signs you can look out for. Spotting the signs early will mean that you're able to make sure that your relative gets the help that they so desperately need. And here are some of the signs. Verbal clues. When you speak to your relative, they might mention that they are feeling lonely, or a friend or a family member may mention this to you. Even if they don't actually use the words lonely, try to read between the lines. For example, if they mention that they rarely have anyone to talk to, that is a sign of loneliness. Changes in the behaviorism. Look out for changes in your relative's behavior. Loneliness may lead to appear miserable, down, or defeated. It may be the case that become withdrawn or stop engaging with others. On the other hand, they might want to talk a lot, and usually when they have the opportunity, they do talk a lot. They are afraid to stop talking because they're afraid for you not to be around. These are all signs that they are feeling lonely. Unexplained health issues is another sign. You may find that your relative complains about imaginary illnesses. It's a sign of getting your attention, whether consciously or subconsciously, as a way for you to pay attention to them. Another sign of loneliness is befriending unlikely people. One of the ways that unscrupulous scammers worm their way into older people's lives is to make themselves indispensable for such things as DIY jobs around the home, or even helping people to remember to take their medication. If your relative has started to spend time with someone you may feel is untrustworthy, you should try to speak to them about it. We provide a wealth of information about scams and older people, including phone and postal scams and doorstep scams. Just give me a call at 631-599. I'll supply that information to you. Possible consequences that can arise from feeling lonely. Loneliness can make people feel miserable, but in some cases it can also lead to serious problems that will need to be addressed, such as alcoholism, depression, and malnutrition. Alcoholism. Some people may turn to alcohol to escape the feelings of loneliness or to help ease the pain of bereavement. If you notice that your relative is drinking more than normal and are concerned, try to talk to them about the first instance. If you feel that there is a problem, encourage them to seek help from their general practitioners. Depression. Depression can be triggered by a range of different events, including bereavement, health worries, or loss of independence. It can also be underlying mental condition, health condition that creates feelings of loneliness and isolation. Whatever the cause, remember that someone with depression can be helped with the right help and the right support. If you think that your relative might be depressed, encourage them to see their general practitioner. The GP may be able to suggest medication or counseling that can help. The last one is malnutrition. Living alone can have an impact of your relatives' eating habits. Ill health or depression can lead a loss of appetite, causing them to eat less, or may feel that there is little point for cooking for one. If they have reduced mobility or are unable to access transport, they might find it difficult to get to the shops. It may also be the case that they start eating unhealthier foods than they used to. If you are worried that your relative is not eating well, try to talk to them about it. It may be just a simple solution, suggesting maybe getting possibly like frozen meals in where it's just a matter of putting them in a microwave. You could help them maybe even come up with plans for different meals. Try to come up with a menu for different days. Make sure that you help them go shopping. Helping them to get started with online supermarket shopping or looking into local authority services such as Meals on Wheels is also very helpful. These are causes of loneliness. Remember now, listen to this. Retirement can help or cause that. Bereavement, losing someone that they dearly loved so much. Lack of friends and companions. And you know, for you folks that are out there saying, well, you know, my mother, my father, they have a caretaker. There's a big difference between not having your family and friends and a caretaker. Yeah, a caretaker's there, but it's different. Poor physical health, location, lack of transport, financial difficulties. Signs to look out for would be verbal clues, changes in behavior, unexplained health issues, befriend unlikely people. More than likely, if somebody shows up out of nowhere and starts doing work around the house, they're trying to take the money. And the possible consequences can arise from feeling lonely. Loneliness can make people feel miserable, but in some cases it can also lead to serious problems that will need to be addressed, such as alcohol, depression, and malnutrition. Alcoholism or alcohol consumption can happen when someone loses a loved one. It can happen when family moves away. As far as depression can be triggered by a range of different events, including bereavement, health worries, or loss of independence. And malnutrition is because they feel, well, I don't have to cook because it's just me. Or it hurts for me to get up to go into the kitchen and cook. I can't stand by the stove. So it's up to you to come up with a different plan. Plans such as frozen meals for the microwave. Folks, listen, we had my wife's aunt living with us. Oh, I should say we all lived together. And we literally, because my aunt she loved sleeping in the living room on the chair. She wouldn't sleep in bed. We put a little refrigerator in the living room, 4 steps away. We put a little, we took one of the bedrooms and emptied it out and put a little microwave in there. We put little cans, this and that, little foods, snacks, put a little pantry area down. All that instead of having to go all the way to the kitchen, which had a step about this high. Now, mind you, she's 92. So, folks, if you know of someone that's an older person, accommodate the situation the best you can. Get a hold of Meals on Wheels. Do the frozen meal. Help with a menu. Accommodate the situation, because I will tell you this, my friend. One day, it might be you. We can all sit here right now and say, oh, God, it's so much work, so much extra, blah, 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 blah. It can be you one day. And I do believe in karma. I hope to God, no matter where you watch me, you have the best day of your life. I hope and I pray you all have a sober day of your life. And I hope no one out there has a lonely rest of their life. And may God bless each and every one of you.